So have you ever wondered about, well, how do I get this shaft into that head without doing too much anything? That is what we're going to review next. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary, and we are in the fitting room. Why? Is because we are doing a review. We are doing the review on the All Fit. You saw it in the intro right there. And the All Fit is an adapter system, right? An adapter system. So it starts off with its own adapter. Get this here too. Starts off with its own adapter. Okay. And it's got a nice little rubber ferrule. It looks like it's a milled aluminum. It's got some teeth. Let's see if I can get it in here. Got some teeth on the bottom to connect with your typical screw that you would see on most adapters for most clubs. The real trick here is that they've made an adapter sleeve to go with it. And what does that mean? Well, let's see if we can find one here. All right, so if I take that adapter sleeve, and let's say I want it to fit on a Mizuno. If I wanted to fit on a Mizuno, I would take the sleeve, or the adapter, and then I would take the sleeve that's made for it, and I would slide it over top, and I would engage it, and now we have that much. All right, we have this much here. There we go, all right? And then what this would fit into the head. Now let's say I want to go to a Callaway club. I would get the Callaway adapter, and I would put it on here, and I would slide it over, and it would engage, and then it would engage into the head right here. So you would see that. Okay. Now, those are just the two that I picked. There's all kinds of different ones: PXG, TaylorMade, Titleist. There's a slew of them, and to the point they don't all fall out. That's just the kit that I got, okay? And there's plenty in there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different adapters. And it looks like it also might even fit a fairway wood. Now, I don't necessarily know if I trust that one just yet, but they also have, which is one I thought kind of funny, but they also have the Nike one. So all these guys carrying around the old Nike clubs, you can adapt. So the real question is, does it work, right? Does it work? And that's what we're going to find out next. So let's do that. Now, before we go any further, I want to tell you right off the bat that the folks from All Fit sent me this to test. All right, they sent me this to test, and they also sent me some other adapters. They sent me a bunch of adapters for my irons upon my request. They're also, if you decide that you like this idea of the All Fit, when you go to the All Fit website, and I'll put that down in the show notes below, that if you put in the word McGolf in there, they'll know that you saw this video, and then I will get a little bit of a kickback on it. All right, so that's how this is working out. So we'll call it a quasi-sponsored video. So again, if you go to the All Fit, put in McGolf, and then that way I get a little bit of the kickback on this as well. And so let's go put this together. Okay, we're in the McGolf shop now, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to put this on a shaft, and I'll show you what we're going to put it on. However, I want to go over a few things. This is kind of a rubbery ferrule, and that rubbery ferrule goes down into right about here. So there is a bit of a shoulder, and then it is all, I'm going to assume it's aluminum, because most adapters are aluminum, right? And it's a nice clean inside. I don't know if you can see all that in there, but it's a nice clean inside. It doesn't look rough. I've done a little cleanup. Always just run a brush in there just real quick. And then we have you have low, let's see if I can get this in here. We have low, and then we have standard, high, and then up. Okay, and it goes in 0.75, 1.5, 0.75, and all the way around. So you're going to have about 1.5 degrees of change on this guy. So we're going to just align it up so that it is square, and that would be to the all fit where it has the little circle, and that's where we're going to put it. Now, to give this thing a fair ride, there's a shaft that I truly like, and it is this Acra FX 3.0 in the red. That's the medium one. I'm more of that guy. It's an M4 and a 60-gram shaft. So I've already abraded the tip, and then we're going to just put some glue on it. We're going to put it on there. We're going to let it set. And then I'm going to use a club and we're going to cut it to length. And that's where I think we're going to have our first concern. May not a problem, but a concern. So let me go put it together. So you saw me put the club through its paces. I hit 2 different drivers, 2 different sleeves, about 20 shots apiece. It's about 3 or 4 rounds of golf. Hit some bad ones, hit some good ones, and not on purpose, by the way. And it seemed to be very, very solid. My very first thing was that little pin that sticks into the bottom of this guy. Was it going to be solid enough, because it's not of the same diameter? And it was. It took the punishment and it stayed in. That was my biggest fear. And so it worked. So now the question is, what companies does it work for? Well, it works for Callaway, Titleist, TaylorMade, PXG, Cobra, Mizuno, Ping, Tour Edge, Nike, Epon, Srixon, Flying Driver, Yonex, Bridgestone, and Hanma. That's a pretty good selection of clubs. I don't see anybody carrying any more outside of that group, right? All the major manufacturers, some of the Japanese manufacturers, it's a pretty good combination. So, you know, what it turned out, it was a very, very solid adapter. It was a very, very solid sleeve, and that was where I was really having an issue with. And as we see, it looks a lot like, right? It looks a lot like a TaylorMade adapter, but it's got the little scallops down in here, and then the gear, a little bit of a gear up in there. And that's what those little scallops is what the first piece of the sleeve attaches to, and then whatever the manufacturer has designed in order for it to connect into, like cogs or teeth or gears or whatever it might be. Again, my first thought was, well, maybe the original pin was going to be a little weak, and it's not. So that's a good thing for us. Now, who do I think this is for? All right, now, pro and con of any of these things. The pro is that you have one adapter, one shaft, gobs of heads as long as you have the sleeve. I don't see where there's a problem with that, right? The only con is that you have to have the skill sets to take off the old adapter if you're going to use a shaft from the driver and put on the other one. If not, then you're going to have a pile of shafts that come with the driver. But you could use that, right? That's all part and parcel of the planning. Outside of that, the only con I can even really come up with is keeping track of all the sleeves. You know, H&M Golf has been really, really responsive in a lot of the questions that I've been asking in the shipping and getting things out. So I don't see any problem with that either. Now, again, who would it be for? Number one and foremost in my mind's eye, it's the fitter, right? The fitter, you can get multiple versions of this, and you can put them all into your favorite shafts, and then they all go on all your heads. That is pretty doggone good, right? The other one is the tinkerer. We'll call it the tinkerer. So you're that guy. Are you that guy? Are you that guy that has a whole bunch of heads from all the golf clubs that you've bought, but you still keep going back to that one shaft that you really, really like? Well, you can get this adapter, the sleeves to fit all your drivers, and whatever you wanted to take out that day, you could take out. So it's not just for one section of people. If you're that hobbyist, this makes all kinds of sense in that, when you're a hobbyist, money is an issue. So if you had one adapter, right? One adapter, and you were doing fitting for your friends, whatever, you're getting into it. This makes a whole lot of sense, just like for a regular fitter. I don't see any problem with this. So far, there's been a group out there talking about this, and nobody has experienced any real problems until you get to the really tall adapter where you need the longer pin. And not necessarily wouldn't be for me. I don't do fairway woods as far as fittings. I just stay in the driver, and the driver category uses the same shorter pin, which makes it tougher. So that's where I would go with it. Now, as I said in the beginning, if you go to H&M Golf, I will put the link in the show notes below, and you use McGolf during the checkout, or there will be some space for you to use a code. Use McGolf, and all it do is it gets me a portion of that sale. And that just helps out this channel in order for us to do more reviews for you. And I would really appreciate it. So if you got any questions about this, please put them in the show notes, because I'm still going to be experimenting quite a bit with this. And we'll fill up, and we'll follow it up. Now, if you really want to keep in track with this, we have our live stream. It's on Mondays at 17:30 Eastern Time. And where I will keep you guys informed about what this is doing, how it's been tested, that kind of stuff. The other part is that there's yet another adapter more for the irons, and I've been really using those up, and we'll be doing another review of those. So if you're interested in a separate iron adapter for fitting systems, then stay tuned, or like and subscribe, because that will be coming shortly, as always. And as always, guys and gals, let's see your scores. Go low.